And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce Philip Rizzo, our CEO. He has some remarks as well. So bring Philip, why don't you come up? Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Kevin. The men and women that wear our nation's uniform, they represent the best of us. And at Liberty, we count it a privilege and an honor to provide those families with quality housing that's fitting of your sacrifice. For the last 20 years, our motto has been, every mission begins at home. And we began our partnership with the Navy and the Marine Corps 1 month before 9/11. And with the events of that day, our mission changed, as did the mission for the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, and all the civilians that support the Department of Defense. And so it meant that the pace of deployments for us was how we can provide support to families at home, meant that men and women serving in harm's way could focus on the mission at hand. And so we really try to do everything we can to ensure families remain, our servicemen and women remain mission ready. And as a public-private venture, Kevin mentioned some of the stats, but just Liberty, we've raised and invested over $6 billion without any additional government funding and invested into military housing in the last 20 years. That's significant. And this, again, as Kevin mentioned with Sierra View, adds to that legacy. Again, critical to our national defense, the MHPI program allows the government to leverage their land, their resources, and then the expertise of private business to come in and provide housing for families that, having grown up in military housing, wasn't available 40 years ago. And having served in the Army, it wasn't available 30 years ago. So I'm humbled and privileged as CEO to support 1,500 team member employee owners across the country, many of whom also served either on active duty or in the reserves as dependents. And so it really is a focus of all of us to make sure that we're providing service and support for our 36,000 families that live with us. I would also like to echo Kevin's sentiment and recognize those that helped make today happen, this wonderful group in red. So round of applause for our team here at Yuma. Red Shirt Friday was actually started by a Marine Corps spouse, although some legend says it was a Navy spouse, but for today's remarks, it was a Marine Corps spouse. For RED, remember everyone deployed. So you'll see our teams on Fridays wearing red in support of those deployed. And again, the pace of deployments and the importance of taking care of families at home is paramount to what we do. And so Manny Padilla, our community manager here, Chris Armenta, our maintenance supervisor, Ben Cronin for his work on the construction side, all played a critical role. Their hard work, dedication, and perseverance, along with, as we mentioned, Moss, our Navy and Marine Corps partners, that's why we're here today, right? This community is ready to welcome military families, Marines, into the neighborhood, not just now, but for years to come. And I think one of the challenges that we saw in the mid-90s when we started MHPI, Congress passed the law, is homes in disrepair because money was being reallocated. And we saw that happen time and again. My father was a base commander at March Air Force Base and saw during the first Gulf War having to reallocate money from enlisted neighborhoods to the front gate to prepare for the news crews that would be there. And so today the money's in a lockbox that allows us to do things like this without any additional government funding, allows us to provide housing, to maintain the housing. And so we're excited to do that. For a young family moving far from home without immediate and extended family support, that's a hard thing. My daughter's in San Antonio right now with my grandson, hopefully moving back home, but to not have family close is difficult. And so being able to have a home that's ready when you move in and a community that welcomes you, that makes all the difference for our Marine Navy families that live with us. And it's this sense of community that brings us together this morning. So again, congratulations to everyone who has contributed to this milestone. We look forward to welcoming the many military families who will call Sierra View home, and I want to thank you all again.